Breonna Taylor's family is speaking out for the first time since a grand jury announced its decision in the fatal police shooting. They're demanding to see what evidence Kentucky's Attorney General presented in the case. Meanwhile, police in Louisville and across the country are bracing for more unrest this weekend. Jericka Duncan has the latest.
Say her name!
Breonna Taylor! As the family gathered around the memorial to chant her name, there was a scathing rebuke of another name, Kentucky's Attorney General.
I never had faith in Daniel Cameron to begin with.
Amen. Wearing Breonna Taylor's emergency medical technician jacket, her aunt Bianca Austin read the words from Taylor's mother, who was too distraught to speak.
I was reassured Wednesday of why I have no faith in the legal system, in the police, in the law that are not made to protect us black and brown people.
Family attorney Ben Crump demanded the grand jury's files be released.
Release the transcript so we can have transparency.
We didn't choose this fraternity. This fraternity chose us.
Jacob Blake Sr., whose son was left paralyzed by an officer's bullets to his back in Kenosha, Wisconsin, says he drove 8 hours to be here.
I want people to understand that we're fed up, that we demand justice everywhere.
Thursday night, mass protests continued in Louisville. And nationwide, there were flare-ups. Protesters in Seattle burned trash cans. In Sacramento, an American flag set ablaze. And in Los Angeles, a vehicle seen striking a protester, causing minor injuries.
Enough is enough, America!
Larger protests are planned in Louisville this weekend. The city's interim police chief is asking armed militia to stay away.
Many of them say they're coming to help us. Let me be clear. That is not help we need. That is not help we want.
Drive my car. Put him in the car.
We are also seeing the first police body camera video from the morning of the March 13th shooting. The 44-second clip shows officers quickly moving Sergeant Jonathan Mattingly, who was shot in the leg during the raid, as Breonna Taylor lay in her apartment, dying from a bullet to her heart's main artery. Protesters vow to keep marching until the officers involved are fired.
Breonna Taylor has brought us together. Yes. Right. And we will never be separated.
And Jericka Duncan joins me now from Louisville, Kentucky. Jericka, we heard you report that the family is demanding the release of transcripts from the grand jury. What's the latest on those efforts?
So I spoke to a former attorney general here in Kentucky, and he said that generally those transcripts are kept secret. But when asked Wednesday if Daniel Cameron, the state attorney general here in Kentucky, would release that information, he said it's a question that he would revisit after the FBI completes its investigation. Remember, there is the FBI investigation that's looking into civil rights and if those were violated, particularly if there was information that was false to gain access to that warrant. So a number of questions, obviously, that Breonna Taylor's family has, and we're still waiting, which it could be months before that federal investigation is wrapped up.
And Jericka, I want to ask you a little bit more about that FBI investigation. Family attorney Ben Crump says that he is counting on the FBI's investigation to deliver justice for Breonna. How is the federal probe different? What is it looking at that's different from what the grand jury looked at?
Specifically, again, that warrant to see if there was any information that should not have been put out there so that a judge would sign off on that warrant if they obtained it sort of illegally, if you will. And also there's an FBI-led task force that's looking at sexual assault allegations against one of the officers involved. So I think, you know, with the federal, the same way with the state case, everything is so tight-lipped. No one's really speaking about particulars, and that's part of the problem that Breonna Taylor's family's attorney have with the state investigation, is that they want to know specifically what did you present the grand jury with. And without having the transcripts or knowledge, did you mention Breonna Taylor's name? Did you only really focus on an officer who happened to shoot blindly at this apartment without even mentioning the full context of the case? So a lot to still learn, but these things are done so quietly and secretly that only the attorneys that are working on it and the people who are making the decisions really have the answers to the questions about what they're looking at and what could be next.
And in your piece, we saw the first body cam video from the shooting. Jericka, how is the family holding up, having that now be released, and how is the Louisville Metro Police Department responding to this footage?
You know, Breonna Taylor's mother, Tamika Palmer, is without a doubt distraught. When I've spoken to her now several times, and today we were expecting to hear from her possibly, but you can tell just looking at her body language, she is tired. She is exhausted. She's been out here at Jefferson Square many days. You have people that have been out here consistently over 100 days pleading for justice for Breonna Taylor. So as far as that video is concerned, I'm not even sure that her family looked at it. They are so focused right now on holding those officers accountable. They're now calling for those officers to be fired. And of course, they're still calling on a special prosecutor to take a look at this case that Daniel Cameron's office has already looked at, and they're waiting to see what the FBI does.
All right, Jericka Duncan, thank you.